Ford Motor Company has had huge write-downs on their electric vehicle business that they've announced recently. GM followed suit, Stellantis as well. Heck, even Volkswagen's getting in on the action. But does this mean that it's the end of the road for their EV ambitions? Does this signal their demise, their slow march to obsolescence? Or is it just accounting fraud? The answer may not surprise you. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza special weekend live edition. We had a video that was supposed to come out today, but due to technical problems, it didn't. But it will be reshot and hopefully released tomorrow. It's a pretty good one. We're pretty happy with it. It's nice and short. You'll love it. So what's going on here? Hey man, who knows? I certainly don't. What's going on is we've got this whole situation here. By the way, at the end of this video, we will go through all the comments. You and me, we'll go through all the comments. So if you have comments, I'll leave them in the chat right now. We'll get to them. Ford, $19.5 billion EV write-down signals tough road ahead for legacy car makers. Does it? Does it? This is on Yahoo Finance. I don't expect them to know anything about finance. It's actually from a Reuters story. I don't like Reuters. They put a paywall between me and the stories, and that tells me that the news isn't the product. I'm the product. I don't like being a product. Ford's $19.5 billion write-down tied to a reset of its electric vehicle business highlights the mounting challenges. Well, it's a write-down, not a write-off, so that's a different. The write-down was seen as the most visible sign to date of the auto industry's pullback from a technology car maker wholeheartedly embraced earlier this decade, exacerbated by the cancellation of the EV tax breaks. Oh, look, a chart has no real meaning in this context. Shares rose 1.3% before the bell. On Tuesday, following the announcement, Tesla edged 0.6 lower. Look, signs that don't mean anything. Washington's action has deepened the decline in sales, forcing the Detroit three automakers, Ford, GM, and Stellantis, to roll back their ambitious EV plans in the U.S. Yes. I mean, we were told to build factories in Canada and Mexico, and that turned out to be the wrong thing to tell automakers to do if you're going to be engaging in trade practices that make those vehicles uncompetitive. So that's difficult. U.S. sales of EVs fell 40% in November following the expiration of the IRA, these IRA 2, Electric Boogaloo. The incentive had been in place for more than 15 years. No, intermittently. Terrible article, terrible. But the real thing is we're talking about a write-down. We're not talking about them throwing stuff away. We're talking about them changing the value on paper. What that means is Ford announces details for their earnings call. It's coming up. It's going to be on the 10th, I believe. Yeah, so in just a few days, February 10th. And what we're seeing is it is predicted that earnings will come in lower. There will still be earnings. Even with this massive write-down, there will be earnings. They won't pay as much tax because you see the value of their electric car business is worth less than they had thought. So that's interesting. If you like these kind of insights, hey, help me out, would you? Don't have to. You could also just subscribe, but YouTube don't pay the bills, and I don't do those goofy sponsorships that a lot of channels do that waste all your time. This video brought to you by you. Thank you. GM to write off $6 billion in electric car scale down. What? We just said there's a difference between write-offs and write-downs. No, this one is a write-down. The headline is wrong. So good job, Car Pro. You may be pros at cars, but you're amateur hour when it comes to writing stories. So the same thing. $4.2 billion of the charge is expected to result in cash costs, with the balance largely made up by non-cash accounting adjustments. The write-down will be recorded as a special item in the fourth quarter results, which are scheduled later this month. The company also warned that additional EV-related charges could follow in 2026. So there's a couple things we need to talk about here. One is, what are these costs? What'd you spend it on? All that money, what'd you spend it on, man? Well, part of it was R&D. Got to do that, right? That just makes sense. What else is it? It's advertising. If you took out a big ad campaign for a car that didn't sell very well, that's a loss, my friend. You built up these brands that you're now perhaps abandoning. All those ads for the Chevy Bolt which you're discontinuing again because it would be hilarious to prank your EV loyal customers. Yeah, that's a write down. That's worthless now, or at least worth less. So all of that is, ludicrous. So if we get back over here, of course, I have to move my screen so I can see what I'm doing. Quality CSS here on Business Insider. Your style sheets cascade poorly. EV retreat deepens with $26 billion write down from Jeep maker Stellantis. I had a chance to ride in a plug-in hybrid Jeep at the LA Auto Show, I don't know, 3 years ago, and it was very good. It performed so well. It was terrifying the kinds of challenges they could make it overcome while not choking us inside the venue. $26 billion charge. Ford, GM, and Volkswagen announced similar multi-billion write-downs as U.S. EV demand cools. So yeah, it's happening to everybody. Stellantis most of all. In September, Volkswagen recorded $3.5 billion charge. Now I've seen that listed differently. There are a number of ways, I guess, to account for it. Some of these are using different exchange rates than others. The reset we've announced today is part of a decisive process we started in 25 to once again make our customers and their preferences our guiding star, said Antonio Filosa. The charges announced today largely reflect the cost of overestimating the pace of the energy transition that distance us from many car buyers' real-world needs, means, and desires. Yeah, so I'm sorry, but you're blaming your customers on your lackluster offerings that cost too much. When I hear you say people don't want EVs, what I really hear is you saying people don't want the EVs that we make for the price we charge. And I would agree. If the Challenger, if the e-Charger or whatever it was say 50,000, I think it would have sold quite well, even being pretty wet trash. If it was a good car, you could have sold it for far more. It's not. It is not a good car. Getting over to Volkswagen here, Volkswagen unveils $7 billion commitment to produce product lineup R&D, manufacturing North America, including EVs. Oh, wait, this is from 3 years ago. They never really got serious about it. They never really stepped up in a way that would make it work, which is why now Volkswagen foresees nearly $6 billion profit hit from EV delays by Porsche. Volkswagen Group has adjusted its operating return on sales expectations for the 25 fiscal year to a range of 2 to 3%. Does that mean they're getting out of EVs? No. It means they just don't think they're as valuable in the future, which is quite possibly true. Volkswagen Group said it sees big losses. The current models, such as the Panamera and Cayenne, will continue to be offered with combustion engines and hybrids for the foreseeable future, extending into the 2030s. The 2030s is so far into the future, you guys, that when I was a kid, movies set in the future didn't go out that far. They stopped around 2020 to 2025. A lot of them stopped in 1999. Prince had it right. We should have. Doesn't matter. So the big three in total, we're talking $52 billion in write-downs for this pivot. But again, we keep saying write-downs. Maybe we should take a second to discuss what that means. Time comes when your business assets lose value because they're aging or outdated. In accounting lingo, a write-down is a reduction in the value of an asset. The amount of write-down is the difference between the book value listed on your balance sheet and how much you could actually recover if you sold it. So if you bought a building and the building's getting old and run down and it's no longer in a desirable neighborhood, you may have said it's worth 10 million. And now you say, you know what, it's actually probably worth 7. At 3 million, you lost it, and write it down. If you're the example, other business assets could be the building, accounts receivable, goodwill. You have a value attached to your goodwill. Did you pay income tax on that? And intangible assets whose values come into play when one business acquires another. So what's it look like? Well, your inventory could lose value when goods get close to the end of their lifespan. If some of your items get damaged in production or transit, or lost or stolen, well, those would be write-offs. Or if some of it accumulates wear and tear when used in in-store displays. So the idea is, for a small one, you can list it as a you can lump it in with sales, but for a big one, it has to be its own line item. All it affects is today's taxes. It doesn't affect tomorrow's taxes. I mean, if you're going to write that down and then make a profit off those things later. I work for a company that had a entire garage bay, a big truck sized bay full of dead inventory. And if any of us sold it, we'd get, I don't know, 40% of whatever we sold it for, because it had all had been written down to zero. When we sold that, all of that cash was booked as profit because our cost basis was zero. So this takes tomorrow's taxes and writes them off today. Today's taxes, writes them off. Maybe you'll pay them tomorrow. So what we're seeing here, Ford is still showing off tech that's going into its $30,000 pickup of the future. Ford is still making stuff for the future? Yes, of course they are. Company promises Mustang-like acceleration, more room than a RAV4, and cheaper ownership than Tesla Model Y. Ugh. Laying it on a bit thick there, Jim. That'll buff out. Ford may be discontinuing its F-150 Lightning, but it hasn't given up on EVs. They just teased the electric midsize pickup called one of the most audacious and important projects in Ford's history. The universal EV platform will be used on a family of affordable EVs around the world, starting with a midsize pickup, and then who knows from there? Because if it's going to be a pickup, I don't know what else you're going to put on that frame. Whatever. Some of the tech going into it, the aerodynamics. The team is spending countless hours getting every last drop of aero. Yeah, that's what you do. That's what you should have been doing with your cars for 50 years. Ford will invest $5 billion, including $2 billion at Lerville, on top of the $3 billion for the Blue Oval battery plant. Okay, well, that means they're not quite done. So are they in or are they out? Or is this an accounting trick? I think it might be an accounting trick. EU proposal is still going to limit. Now it's been softened a bit. It was supposed to be a ban from 2035. Now it's a limit. Again, Reuters, I can't show your stuff. You paywall it. I'm going to go with anyone who has the right to reprint it. Electric vehicles are likely to make up 85% of new car sales in the EU from 2035, based on plans. So that means that the transition is still happening. This is not the end of it. Oh, it's paywalled there. It loaded before. That's okay. You get the idea. Now, should we believe in all these things? Should we believe in, Ford saying, oh, check it out, we're going to make this cool stuff? I don't believe them until they say, here's the concrete date when it is coming out. We are done. That's when Ford gets serious. Do you remember 2018? Ford announced that they were going to have a cajillion new electric cars and have them all out by, 2030 models that they were going to have out by now. So they were, I guess this isn't quite the right one, but they've announced this many, many times. This is how they do it. This is what they do. They love to announce electric cars. GM did the same thing. We're going to have 30 electrified vehicles, 20 of them being pure electric by, and I don't remember the year, 2022, 2025. It's just how they do it. Let's get into the Q&A, shall we? Shall we? I think we shall. Let's find out if we will. How is everybody? What's the weather where you are? It's a rain in here, but at least it's not as cold. We got an Eastern Kentucky in the house. Hello there, Mr. David Westy. We will get through this as quick as we can, but if you have questions, now is the time to ask them. Let's see. Those are all me. Sometimes get to write quotes when I take out the Model Y. I don't understand. Oh, write quotes for business. Gotcha. FSD takes over driving. And I'm afraid to write quotes. Well, you're supposed to keep your eyes on the road. The car will detect if you're not looking at the road and get quite mad. Afternoon, Ford isn't going anywhere. Correct. There's a lot of people I've seen saying, well, there was one prominent channel that recently said, like 6 months ago, GM will be bankrupt in 2 years. No, it won't. That's not how it works. And I've seen a lot of people saying, well, this is the end. This is the beginning of the end for Ford and GM and Stellantis and Volkswagen and all the big dogs. And it isn't. They've got time and they've got money. And right now they've gone back to focusing on the kind of cars that they can sell very profitably and very quickly. They know how to build them, they know how to sell them. So get out of the EV business, Ford, while you still can. They're not. That's not their plan. Sorry to be so stark. Going to kitchen appliances or modular homes. Boy. Well, I think kitchen appliances, they're already dominated by China. And modular homes, I don't know who's building those, but I don't know how much, and I don't know how much money is in it. All right. Howdy, Daniel. Good to see you, my bacon friend. Sounds like what Tesla did with S and X and soon Cybertrucks. Nope, they didn't have anything to write down. They just discontinued them. And soon Cybertrucks. I don't know of a plan to discontinue the Cybertruck. I would think that discontinuing it would make sense based on how low the sales have been. But I think they need a Halo car, and that's what they have left for the Halo car territory. Y and Z generations don't drive. They really don't. They really don't. They don't like to. They don't want to. They don't need to go anywhere. We needed to drive because it was our only source of freedom. You've got to leave the house. Everything's in the house now. There's far more entertainment at home than there is at the movie theater. Any economy that does not electrify now will not be competitive against those like China that are, simply because of the embedded energy cost in the value chains of the society. True. It's true. And China's bringing on so much power generation. It's crazy. If you bankrupt a casino, you can spread that loss off over the next 10 years. I think that's true of other businesses too, but I don't recall. EU is busy cooking their own goose. I don't know what that means. This is a natural response after the death of the body. There's still some electrical activity. That's very fun phrasing. I enjoy that. Good to see you, by the way. Howdy, neighbor. Let's see. Snowing in Boston. Unacceptable. You should speak to the manager of snow. It's funny how you say Ford is laying it on a little thick, but when Elon says your car, we appreciate value. Oh, we'll appreciate value. No one checks him. I did. So maybe I don't know who you're referring to. I've never said that purchasing a Tesla would be an appreciating asset. You can check me on that because I don't do that stuff, my friend. You got to know that by now. Ford pickup could be cheaper to operate than a Model Y if it has smaller wheels, wipers, and air filters, and somehow better efficiency. That's the challenging part. Yes, that's true. If it has, well, smaller wheels work sometimes. It's not, the correlation isn't as direct as you think. There is a sweet spot. Wipers and air filters and somehow better efficiency. That, you know what? That is the challenging part. That is all true. Navigation errors in V14 are ruining the experience for me. It's bonkers, my man. It is insane. The other day had 3 disengagements because where I'm pulling out of a driveway, navigation says, yeah, turn right. And it's like, I'm going to turn left. That's great, but we can't get there. So I'm like, all right, let's see where it goes. It turns left. Now it needs to make another left. It's like, I'm going to turn right. I'm going to go across the bridge. You're done. You're done. I put it on, I re-engage, and then it says, okay, now what we're going to do is instead of going straight, which is where we need to go, we're going to turn right, go a half mile down, turn left, and then literally go the long way around the triangle. And I'm thinking, that road's closed. I know there's construction up ahead of me, but that road that you're trying to take me on is literally closed. We're not doing that. Crazy. So, well, I agree with you. Michigan, we're up to 26 degrees. That's good. I'm at over 50 in my office, about 50 in my office. Can Chinese electric vehicles drive themselves to the US from Canada? Well, they're not, I don't think the self-driving tech is activated in Canada yet. So the short answer is no. But once it is activated, would it work? Boy, I don't know. I know when you drive a Tesla across borders from one country where FSD is allowed to another that is not, I'm quite sure it lets you know that it's disengaging. So I don't think buying something that has FSD in Canada and driving it into the US, I don't think it would work, but I don't know. That's a great question. Anyone have any insights on that? Let's hear it. Mhm. All right. The OEMs are not only losing the international markets to the Chinese, they're losing the gas and diesel hybrids to Chinese combustion engine products as well. I believe that. I believe that China, for the longest time, made really terrible cars, really awful. But that's ended. I mean, they made a lot of things that were not very good, but that time has ended. Gen Y and Z would rather FaceTime with each other than hang out. Yeah, crazy, right? This is why this is my favorite Tesla channel. Gotcha. Sounds like I should be happy with my version 12 FSD. Yeah, yeah. David, if you want to come over sometime and experience V14, I'll take you for a ride, or you can just, I mean, I trust you. You can take the car. So let's think about that. So, guys, we're at 21 minutes. If there are any last lingering questions to get in, please do that. I would mention that the Portland International Auto Show, they don't call it that. What do they call it? They call it the Oregon International Auto Show. I've got that here somewhere. I'll find it. Is it here? Is it here? There it uh, is coming up. It's going to be February 19th through the 22nd. I think the 20th and 21st are the mornings that I will be there volunteering at Electric Avenue to answer your many questions about electric vehicles. And, you know, you can hang out, you can say hi, you can do all that stuff. I'll be there. Later, coming up, will be the Chattanooga Charge next month in March. I might as well show that as well. And the Chattanooga Charge, I will be having a very special booth. I get my own booth. We're going to be doing a feature called In the Weeds with Future Asa, where you can come to me and ask your crazy, difficult questions, and I will answer them with the kind of insights that hopefully I have. The only catch is it's going to be on camera because you guys, when I meet you in public, you guys ask the most amazing questions. Look at all these clubs participating. That's something. So this is going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Probably got my name on here somewhere. Saturday? Who knows? This is still very TBD, but yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. All right. So we'll give the comments one last sneaky peeky. Goes right here. And yeah, if you're watching this on the replay, definitely let me know. But what did I miss? What did I misunderstand? You got to let me know. Everybody else, stay tuned and juicy, and do not forget to subscribe. Uh, David says he may. Yeah, let me know. You know how to reach me, I think. Do you realize that almost every business in history has collapsed once they lost 25% of the marketplace because of their debts? I did not realize that. I'll tell you what amazes me is all those venture capital funds, those hedge funds that came in and bought all the gun manufacturers, like, ooh, guns, easy money. And then some of them went broke. How does a 150-year-old company with no debt go broke? Well, they took on a bunch of debt and then went broke. That's just how they did it. So it's very crazy to see. But yes, if your debts have a income requirement and your income drops significantly, whether it's a business or a person, you're going to be in trouble. David says it's a rapidly changing world, to which I agree. Stay tuned, stay juicy, and I can't wait to hear from you, clever robots, at the Oregon International Auto Show in a couple weeks. Who knows?